Hello there, and welcome to the Cargo Bay's continuing set guide series. On today's very special episode, we've got Topps Star Wars Series 5 from 1977, the Orange Borders cards 265 through 339. I am Brady C, here with my co-host as always,
Adam B. Check this out, BC. 1977, but it came out in 78. What's this about? What's it about, BC?
My brain just blew out of my head.
Apparently, the last series came out in 78 too, but if you're searching for these cards, you want to put in 77.
1977.
That's what eBay's going to return your results for, right?
That's what you are going to find, all under 1977. Yes, the orange border, beautiful card pack with the X-Wing on there, cartoonish style. I featured a beautiful C-3PO and R2-D2, mostly because of that sick wall in the background.
Yeah.
That's got that giant set piece on it. I thought that looked really cool. Doing the research and the image gathering. Spoiler alert. I love this set, not unlike my love for Series 3 and, of course, Series 1. But if you're a big old Star Wars nerd, like I think you might be if you're watching this right now, you'll probably dig some of the stuff about this set. So let's go to slide the next and just talk about some of that fun stuff.
Well, I just want to say I'm glad we're going out with a bang, BC. This is our final 1977 Star Wars set. There's some things to love about Series 4, but this is a highlight for me. So I'm glad we got this set.
Yep.
Here we are.
And thank the maker we did, because we got George Lucas all over this set.
Yes.
What I love about this is, one, you do get these behind the scenes things in this set, and it very much feels like Topps, as we mentioned in Series 4. They were like, "Hey, you got any more images for us? You got anything else you can give us to put on that paper? You got anything else we can sell?" And Lucasfilm was like, I mean, you take these production photos now, like maybe people want to see a George Lucas with Greedo and a straw sticking out of his mouth. And you know what? I do.
Yeah.
I really love that image. Yeah. I think it's fantastic.
Look at the color match of that image, because it got kind of that washed out 70s film stock matching the blue logo. And also, yeah, this is incredible, because there was, I think we've had Starlog magazine mentioned. I know there were like movie making magazines and sci-fi magazines that probably had some behind the scenes features, but yeah. I think for a lot of kids this was probably like a window into movie making they hadn't seen before, maybe. I certainly didn't. I just want to say I'm terrified of that straw Greedo. Imagining being stuck in that mask breathing through a straw makes me want to die.
Horrifying. And occasionally we like to jump back in time and stand in the shoes of a child in 1977. I don't know if I'd have the same affection for a George Lucas card.
Yeah, true.
If I'm looking for my Luke Skywalkers and my Han Solos. But now seeing George Lucas with Greedo, I'm like, this card is sick,
Yeah, I wonder, what's he doing? Maybe the back of the card says what he's doing there, but we also get our continuation of creepy shots of C-3PO. we have the birth of a droid over here. Nice pick, VC.
I guess that's what we would call that. Yeah. If you want to hit the next slide, we're going to continue highlighting the maker. I'm telling you, we got some great George Lucas cards here. Okay, we got George directs his counterpart, Luke.
I have to imagine George Lucas was upset he was being called Luke's counterpart. Of my impression, he'd be like, I'm the creator and director.
Listen, we're not on the same level. So Topps, I appreciate you giving me the idea for the Empire Strikes Back as the title of the next movie in the last set, but counterpart, we might want to reevaluate that.
I look at actors as tools more than artists.
Yeah, he did. And that's what Mark Hamill was saying. He's like, I'm not a tool, I'm a person, is what I can imagine him saying. Yeah, but just make sure you go stand over there and hit your mark. This isn't about you. Working for George must have been great. You remember, you're sad. Louder, faster, and more intense. And then The other card here is the birthday celebration for Sir Alec Guinness.
Incredible.
Surely one of his most memorable and least self-loathing that he had in his life. Don't you think?
I mean, all the pictures of Alec Guinness on set where he just looks like, what the heck am I doing? Again, just highlights what an incredible actor he is, that he gives an amazing performance, because he's clearly not super happy to be there.
The disdain that he personally felt for it, like, because let's be honest, this is beneath his caliber of what he is, actor. But then when you watch A New Hope, you're like, dude turned it on and sells the soul of this movie. He is, to me, the reason why this works on a lot of levels as a film, because they brought in Babe Ruth to just come in and smash home runs when he was on. And when he was on, he was nailing it.
Yeah. Boy, I think this might be the birthday party I most want to be at, BC. This a great card.
Yeah. And if you go to the next slide, we'll see the after effects of the hangover for Sir Alec Guinness after the birthday party there. Just hanging out in Tunisia, nice and hot. He was used to working in the desert with Lawrence of Arabia, so he was accustomed to it. George in a very heavy jacket. I'm not sure if they're in Tunisia. They're based off of the jacket that he's wearing, unless it's like a cool desert eve or something.
Yeah, maybe that wind kicked up.
Yeah, but again, I like just the behind the scenes stuff. I think is cool. It's very of a time. I also love this pose that you get of Alec Guinness inside the Millennium Falcon there.
Is that him?
I'm pretty sure that's Alec Guinness without the robe on.
I wouldn't have guessed that, but I'll believe you, BC.
I could be wrong. I'm going off of the facial hair and the age. But if I'm wrong, drop it in the comments. Please tell me I'm wrong.
Please
tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. And if it's not him, then my continuing slides of trying to have some sort of theme don't necessarily make sense. But you get some more behind the scenes of him in the next slide fighting Dave Prowse, which I can only imagine was a rollicking rehearsal. Done. Fantastic.
Yeah, not the most energetic of Star Wars lightsaber fights, but I do love it.
And honestly, probably not the most energetic sword fight he's ever had, because he did a lot of Shakespeare, and I'm sure he had his fair share of sword play in his day.
Yeah.
And this, he was probably like, this is what we're going to do. And thrust, parry, thrust.
Let's not forget that at the time George Lucas was directing them, that these swords were incredibly hard to wield, that they were so full of energy that it was like carrying a super heavy object. Yeah. So,
Do you think he was saying that because that's what he thought, or because that's what he thought the technology could actually accomplish visually?
That spinning rod on a stick, probably not the most
You need this to move slowly, please, because we got to rotoscope this, and it is going to be a chore if you swing that quickly.
I gotta hand it to Ben Burt as always, because that lightsaber fight sounds like they're heavy and powerful, and kind of saves the fight for me.
Saves it. I love it.
And the pyro shots in that fight. There's
we'll get to some pyro shots here in a second. Not from that particular scene, but there's a card featuring pyro in this set, which I love. Again, here's another creepy C-3PO card with just all hands on deck.
Man,
all hands on deck for Anthony Daniels.
Just a miserable experience to be inside of that suit, seems like.
Funnily enough, the goldenrod shot was taken immediately after this, which makes it a lot more awkward.
Everybody clear the stage. We need some room.
We need some room. Anthony needs to prepare. But speaking of pyro, in the next scene here, we're blowing up some Death Star.
Man,
isn't that amazing?
Just awesome. Of course, you can see this shot in action and some of the behind the scenes documentaries. Just incredible stuff, BC. Still My favorite thing in the world are these special effects Star Wars model shots and wild stuff. Look at all those X-wings they got. Some of them to be blown up, I'm sure. I don't know if those are all pyro X-wings, but there they are. They're the magicians out in
Tons
Van
of them.
Nuys.
Yep, those wizards of Lucasfilm with their models. Again, beautiful cards. If you want to hit the next slide, we're gonna keep going. You got Phil Tippett,
Wow.
the mad god himself,
There he
working with the
is.
claymation. You got Richard Edlund in the other shot working with the Falcon. I cannot recommend highly enough at least the first 2 or 3 episodes of Light and Magic on
Yeah.
Disney Plus, because you really get to know the people who made Star Wars. Like, yes, we know the iconic actors and the performers and the characters. These are the people who made Star Wars what it was. I love that they're celebrating this. Again, if it was 1978 and I was an 8-year-old, I'd be like, this sucks, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I
I
would have the
probably wouldn't be super
appreciation for it.
excited about it. Yeah.
But now, like, seeing Richard Edlund, who is one of the effects wizards of cinema history, working with the Falcon, like they built the camera rigs that weren't around to make this movie look the way it did. Like, that was all handmade, handcrafted stuff. These are legends. These cards are amazing that they exist.
And the style of model making, the used future aesthetic, the paint chipping, all that stuff, just I mean it is the aesthetic of Star Wars is primarily why I fell in love with Star Wars. And
Yeah.
I wonder if some of you out there might have signed cards, because occasionally you'll see these signed, and these are,
Yeah.
to me, these are the coolest cards to have signed in Star Wars. Like to have Phil Tippett's
Yep.
signature on one of these. Ooh, that's a cool card, BC.
That's a super sick card. Yeah, so just for me, a celebration of like the nerddom of Star Wars is the appreciation for the film, the behind the scenes, all that. It's a great set. I think it's probably overlooked. Um, if we go to the next slide, we'll see some of the like. I of course wanted to include Luke the Star Warrior as a callback to moments shortly after Luke takes on the evil Empire, and it's his head is just slightly at a different angle. But the crucial moment for Luke Skywalker is awesome.
Yeah,
You get a great look at that helmet.
yeah, yeah. I Another one of those tiny details in Star Wars. It's like this is incredible design. Those helmets are amazing. The Rebel emblem is amazing. It didn't have to be. It could have been crappy. Like but the team making this stuff, everybody involved in this, just knocking it out of the park. And that's probably the best shot we have of an X-wing
Oh,
helmet in
easily.
the trading cards from these
Oh,
sets.
100%. It's absolutely why I pulled it. I was like, that looks great. It looks really good. And if you go to the next slide, I just grabbed a couple more. We got some good Chewy cards in here. He doesn't always get the love he deserves, but there's Chewy aims for danger, and it's not wise to upset a Wookiee. And then I'm always down to show a Y-wing, Han and the pilots there.
Han
So you
holding
do
his
get a
belt.
yeah, you get a mix of shots from the movies and then the behind the scenes stuff. So for that kind of mix, I think it's a really great set. I don't personally love the orange border, but it doesn't bother me. I think because of the images, this ranks highly on my list in terms of the main sets.
It's grown on me,
Then if you,
especially paired with the powder blue and
yeah,
yellow. And it
yeah,
looks
diving
very of the
into it, I
time.
appreciate it more.
Like
Yes,
these cards look like they are from the 70s, like for sure.
yeah. Um, Yeah, and you wanted to highlight a Chewy card behind the scenes that you've
Yeah.
got too.
I've been picking up one card from each set we cover, and I got Chewbacca sitting sitting in a chair off camera. It is Chewie takes a breather between scenes, and you can see people standing in the background, crew in the background. It's very funny to me. To imagine
A
Peter Mayhew there.
fantastic image of a man in a bear suit, just hanging out. And if you pop over to our last slide, we've got the final set of stickers 45 through 55. You got that cool Luke as a sticker. Again, it stays with that that film border, which, I think we're on record. We like the series 1 and 2 stickers better. I think just design wise, they look cooler. You got good images. You got a George sticker in here. You got Chewie getting his makeup.
Every
There's
kid
also
dying
a
for
lot
that
of
George sticker.
just going nuts for the George Lucas sticker. There's cool Cantina cards in the set. There's a lot to like about it, but for me, as a big old nerd, I love the behind the scenes stuff. I think it really catapults this set right next to Series 3 for me. I'm a 1, 3, 5, 2, 4. I think is my overall ranking.
Yeah, I think that's
1,
the way to be, VC.
3, 5, 2, 4.
I'm gonna put 3 in first place just because that's what I've chosen to collect. But obviously, Series 1. We've now completed this. Well, before we put a bow on it, just want to say there are puzzle backs on this. I have a puzzle back. Does not illuminate this image after maybe minutes of searching online.
Scouring for minutes.
I looked last night too. I don't know what the image is on the puzzle. Wikipedia doesn't know what the image is on the puzzle. I can't find an eBay listing that has the puzzle image. Would have loved to have whatever the puzzle was in this presentation. So if you're out there and you can tell us what this puzzle is, I would love to know.
Help us, Cargo Bay Kenobis. You're our only hope. Let us know what the puzzle is. If you by any chance have an image of it, you can send it to us at the Cargo Bay Pod at protonmail.com. We would love to highlight it, as we were not able to do on this video. So if you do have an image of it, you can send it there. We would greatly appreciate that. In addition to appreciating your likes, your subscriptions, your comments, all that sort of stuff, definitely appreciate the feedback. I hope you've been enjoying these sets, going through maybe some of your shoe boxes or your binders or wherever you may be, treasures out. It's definitely given me an appreciation for the cards that I know I didn't have before. I always knew they were cool, but really getting to look into them, can definitely see why these are treasured collectibles for people. If not monetarily, then at least sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah, BC, I wasn't the biggest fan of these cards going into this. I had a lot of respect for the cards. I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
But I thought it was impossible for me to collect. I was like, that ship has sailed. The only way that those are cool is if they're perfect, and I can't afford them perfect. And probably only the blue set is cool. Coming out of the other side, I'm like, I'm going to get all of these yellow cards in a 7 someday.
Yeah.
I love all of these, and this has been a blast. So yeah, we'll be moving on to Empire Strikes Back soon.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. We're blasting into the 80s.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's the end of a chapter in top Star Wars history and in the Cargo Bay history.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I guess it's time for a schwoomp, BC.
Shoom. Did we totally biff it?
Wait until you see what happened. For some reason, I have this top Star Wars logo that will come in and out, and it just swoomped to top Star Wars. So if I can get a second,
we nailed it.
It was perfectly timed. Can we get another one, BC, please?
You ready? Hold on. Let me get the vocal cords ready.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Shoom.
Beautiful.